Hello, everybody. It's time for another edition of We Watch Shudder. My name is JD, and here with me, who is it?
It's Michelle.
It's always Michelle.
It's
Yay!
always me. Yes.
We are here to talk about another new release from Shudder. You know, that's what we do here. We talk about the new originals and exclusives. This week, talking about a movie called See for Me. And as always, I'm just gonna read for you the description of this film right off the Shudder website, and then we're gonna talk a little bit about it, totally spoiler free, give you just some summary reactions, and then we're gonna do the deep dive and really talk about what we thought about this film. Michelle, are you ready?
I am very ready.
Oh, we were all born ready. Here we go. See for Me. A group of thieves break into the luxurious, secluded mansion Sophie is house-sitting. Sophie, a visually impaired former skier, needs to rely on Kelly, an Army veteran living across the country, to help her fight back. A Shudder exclusive.
Yay!
See for Me. Michelle, as we do, hit us with them spoiler-free thoughts, please.
My spoiler-free thoughts are that this is a very solid film. Every time I thought that I was running into something that was a little weird or a little bit off or didn't quite make sense, there was always something either earlier on in the film that worked as foreshadowing or something explained a little bit later that kind of tied up those loose ends for me. I enjoyed it. I had a really good time. I thought it was kind of refreshing because it was a little bit different than other things that are kind of out right now. So, do you want my score right away?
Yeah.
I don't know how we do
How
these.
many skulls?
Okay.
How many skulls for
Let's
C for
see.
Me?
I will give it 4 skulls. I think it was a really solid movie. I enjoyed it.
4 out of 5 skulls. Well, I also watched C for Me, and we maybe saw different movies because I don't get me wrong. I'm not about to tell you that I hated this movie. I just didn't connect with it at all. At no point whatsoever was I engaged. I thought the idea was really interesting, but what they actually did with it in the script, I found less than thrilling. Overall, where you saw apparently things that were being foreshadowed and whatnot, my experience of this film is that it was just kind of a chain of convenient happenings that it's like, oh, it just so happens that this was the case, and it also just so happened, and I imagine I maybe missed those foreshadowing details because I was just never completely drawn into the film. I thought overall, the way they took the general concept. See, the concept here, guys, is that this lady is blind, and she's using an app on her phone where somebody on the other end is actually watching through her phone camera and helping her see things like in emergency situations and that sort of thing, which I thought was a real. And then there's like a home invasion, right? That's what happens, and I thought that was a really interesting idea, and then it just was like rote sort of stuff. Anyway, we can dig into the significant details. Michelle went 4 skulls. I'm going to give this one 2 skulls. That brings us down on an average of 3 skulls.
I'm surprised it was
C
that
for me.
low. Okay.
2 skulls.
What
yeah,
what did you give Night's End?
I think you've made a grave error in thinking that I'm keeping track of these things.
Nope, that's fair. That's fair. I am trying to meticulously track mine, and you are not. And I think we're gonna have like a very fun time.
My skulls
I'm never gonna remind you. Yep.
My skulls are more of a gimmick. They're just sort of how I'm feeling in the moment.
Perfect. And I sit down and I ponder and I compare to previous ratings and movies that I know that we will be revisiting. I've got a system. So I love that this is very different.
Oh, that's incredible. I love it.
Yep.
I love it. All right, guys. So that's the spoiler. If this is where if you want to actually see this movie before we really go into significant details and potentially spoil some major things for you, this is where you're going to want to stop and go watch that movie right now. All right. Did you stop? I don't know. Maybe you just want to know why I thought this movie was bad. I'm going to go ahead and let Michelle talk for a little while here about what she thought about this movie a little bit more in depth.
Okay.
Who knows? I'll probably be a jumpy jerk and interrupt every now and then with contradictions, but we'll see how it goes. Michelle,
Yes.
make your argument. Tell me why I'm wrong about this movie.
Oh, man. Okay, so it's a little bit difficult because I do not feel that I passionately loved it. I do think it was solid. First off, I thought that the imagery was beautiful. I thought that the way that they highlighted that her hearing had been improved by focusing on the sounds that she was focusing on at that point kind of emphasized that really well. There was the cat. I like cats, so that obviously gets a point. Just like one skull for having a cat. Although I do have to say, I don't know what happened to the cat. We saw it at the beginning. I never saw it again. I am worried that the cat got out. So that is like the only plot hole I'm aware of, though. There was a whole fridge full of Red Bull at one point. I like that. That's another point. But very seriously, I liked the main character. Well, okay, here's the thing. I didn't like her at first. I thought she was kind of rude and abrasive, and I didn't...
Oh, you think?
Yeah, no, she was very clearly, but I was also like, okay, people are kind of being patronizing to her, and she's probably used to that, and, I was kind of like, oh, I get it. But then when they reveal, and here's one of the big spoilers, that she was born with sight and lost her sight, and she was one of the top skiers of girls under 18, and that this was kind of a recent thing that she's coping with, and how she's just kind of mad about it, obviously. Then a lot of what she was doing made a lot more sense, because it was one of those movies where she did things trying to get away from these people who broke into the house, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Oh my god, like, it was one of those movies where, and I think that brought me in, because I am definitely like a scream at my TV by myself kind of person, so I'm like, girl, no, what are you doing? Listen to the lady on the app. You called the lady on the app, listen to her. And she just kept doing all these things where I'm like, okay, that's dumb. But then it kind of made sense, because she is like trying to fight against this thing she's not used to. And she's trying to say like, no, I'm still strong. I don't need any help. Like I can continue doing my life. And she was very resistant to that change. And I just really liked that, I guess, aspect of the story. I think it was very different that she was so abrasive and so stubborn and like trying to raise money, and she just wasn't very likable because of those challenges. Yeah,
you know what else she was? A rotten criminal.
Yeah, no, I love that.
She was a rotten criminal.
Okay,
so here's the deal with this. So this is the gimmick, right? This lady, this is her job, right? As a blind person, she works for some sort of service that hires people to like house sit or pet sit while they're away. And she's been hired by this lady to come keep an eye on her cat in this very remote place that apparently only 3 people know the existence of. At one point they say, yet it has a street address and the cops find it no problem. I guess I don't understand the logic there. But turns out what she really does is she takes these jobs house sitting for these super rich folks, and then she steals from them. And her whole plan is if they ever do get suspicious or get caught, they're certainly not going to suspect the cute little blind girl.
Yeah, boss ass bitch.
And she just robs these people. And then when the bad guys show up, she teams up with the bad guys for half the movie and gets a cop killed. And don't get me wrong, I'm a forgiving human being, and somewhere down the road, I might be able to care about Sophie. But 30 minutes after she got a cop killed, I don't give a shit. And that's not because it was a cop. It's just because she got somebody killed. Right?
We need to talk about this cop, though.
She's so unlikable.
We have to talk about the cop.
Unsympathetic.
We got to talk about it.
Okay,
yes,
tell me about the cop.
Because my exact notes were this fucking cop. I would be so mad, and I think she kind of did it herself. Because this cop, for those of you who are just kind of watching, I know we shouldn't victim blame, but this fucking cop. So gets a call that there has been a break-in, because there has. And then, as JD pointed out, she teams up with them and says, no, I want 5% of the money and I will get rid of the cops, because she's a boss-ass bitch. She's an entrepreneur. She's taking care of business. Like they said, this woman doesn't even know. She does not know that this money exists. It is her ex-husband's money that she doesn't even know is hidden in the house. So she's not even stealing from the woman. She is partnering with the ex-husband, who happened to have money in his ex-wife's house. So this cop shows up and she is trying to get the cop to go away, and the cop is just kind of awful to her and treating her like a criminal, which I guess she is, but the cop doesn't know that. She just thinks, oh, a blind girl had a house broken into.
Okay. The cop's behavior is a little weird, but also the cop is absolutely right to be suspicious.
Oh, definitely.
Oh, just out of the blue, this girl calls 911 back and she's like, oh no, I totally, it was just a mistake. You can go home. No, but obviously, then,
the cop has every right to be suspicious. If a cop showed up and treated me like a criminal, even if I was, and then demanded to walk through this place that I'm house sitting, I would be mad, and I think she has a right.
Well, yeah,
and
fuck the police, absolutely. Exactly. I'm with you there.
And then when she finally got her out of the house and she was standing on the doorstep, her cell phone rings and the cop makes her answer it in front of her. And I was so upset. And that's why I did not care that the cop died. I didn't care. I was like, bitch, let this blind lady steal from the rich woman. She doesn't need it. Just get out.
You're not wrong.
I'm not.
What this really is me just being so totally detached from what was happening that I started looking for reasons to not like her.
No, that's fair.
I don't know. There was just none of this. Everything about it just felt very contrived, very convenient. The lady who works for the app is called See For Me. That's where the title of the movie comes from. It is a real
app, and it is something people can sign up for as volunteers. I had looked into it a while ago, so if you want to do what they're doing in this movie and help blind people steal from rich people and give them their comeuppance, you can do that.
I gotta be honest, when you sell it like that, maybe I could get into this. I could maybe hear that's not bad.
It's a very good app.
She conveniently at first they make you think, oh, she just is really super into Call of Duty type video games and doesn't get no respect from the other man players because she's a lady. Never mind that her strategy is clearly superior from anybody from an outside observer's perspective. And then on top of that, not only then it turns out she's a military veteran. It's how many convenient things along the way that they just happen, right? It doesn't feel it feels like the whole logic of it is we need her to be an Army veteran now.
Okay. I have many thoughts about the gamer girl that they added. For example, they're just like, oh man, look at how cool she is. She has 2 screens and one of them's vertical. Whoa.
She has Alienware headphones.
Look at how all of her legs
She's got a fridge full of Red Bull.
I was going to say, and also while I was like, this is stupid, but also, man, I want that room. That looks so great. A fridge full of Red Bull? That's expensive. I buy Red Bull regularly, and they are $2 to $3 a can.
You got to go to Aldi. They have an imitation Red Bull that's almost identical, and it's $1.25 a can.
I'll try it, but if it doesn't give me wings, I'm suing you. This gamer girl, I was like, oh, of course, they're really playing this up, and I agree that she was ridiculous, but if you ignore her stupid backstory, that she's like, yeah, I got some bad stuff happened to me in the Army, just ignore that, and then she's much more likable.
And then also, though, again, the movie is named after the presence of this app in the film, right? The app is called See For Me. The movie is called See For Me. And then the app plays no role whatsoever in the movie for the entire third act.
Oh, for the third act.
Her phone goes dead. And then there's this whole sequence where there's another invader who shows up, the boss of the guys. And now she's got to go through this whole thing. Like,
So
I thought,
there is
I don't know.
so you're saying that the app did add to the plot in the fact that it was absent and could not help her. So wow, the entire time
I
you
mean,
were
yeah,
thinking about
keep
the app.
spinning it. Keep
Yep,
spinning
I
it.
will.
The
I
harder
am
you spin
very,
it,
very good at
the
bullshitting. You should
funner
know
it'll
this.
be. Oh my God. No, it just,
I don't know. I liked it, and that's okay that you did not. I
I
guess.
also, I also just very much like, I felt like this could have been, a little more tense, honestly. Like
I agree.
even
Yeah.
like at no like it's categorized as a thriller, but I don't know. It didn't really at any point get remotely intense for me. It's very I don't know, and I don't mean like intense in like a violent or a graphic way. I just like at no point felt suspenseful watching the movie. Like I pretty much again, it had no resonance with me psychologically at all. I had no emotional experience with this movie whatsoever.
That is fair. And I did consider whether I should include like how scared I get or how tense I get during a movie, but I feel like that would give so many things a low rating that I didn't
Oh,
want to
sure.
make that part of it. So when I approached this, and like I said, I have a whole rating system that I am building. I
Nice.
did not really. I mean, I could recognize the tension and I could say, yeah, I get what they're doing and they're doing it well. And I like the acting and I like all these components of it. So that's where I thought it was solid. For people who are used to horror movies and really want to feel tension and want to feel scared, this is not going to do it for you. This is more of
Right.
like a vanilla, like I want to feel a little spooked and I never watch horror movies kind of thing. And I think it's very solid for that. And I don't mind those films.
Well, I guess we're splitting the difference on this one. I
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. And then also it just sort of turns around at the end, and this is my favorite part. So these three people show up to crack this safe to get this dude's millions of dollars back that are hidden in this house.
Mm-hmm.
And then the dude himself shows up. This blind girl kills all four of them. A cop also was killed. And nobody looks in this girl's backpack at any point. She just gets away with a bag full of that money. Are you kidding me? She was in the hospital for a week. At no point did anybody look. Just some orderly putting her shit away in the closet while she's unconscious in the hospital bed notices she's got a bag full of fucking money. Again, there were just so many things that just happened conveniently with no logic at all.
Two very quick points. Her whole thing was nobody's ever going to suspect the blind girl, and they
Yeah,
didn't.
that's stupid.
It
has nothing to do.
happened.
It has nothing to do with
Movie logic.
suspicious. It has nothing to do with suspicious. It has everything to do with property leaving a crime scene.
Yeah, they probably looked and went, wow, this blind girl's loaded, and they let her go. Like, nothing
yeah.
says that she doesn't have that money. Secondly, I just really, really have to give props to a movie introducing an animal and not killing them. You don't understand how happy that made me, because when the cat came trotting up, I was like, oh, fuck, that thing's getting skinned.
But
Uh-huh.
can you say for sure the cat is not dead? Because as you so
Schrodinger's
cleverly
cat.
observed, the cat just disappeared.
Yeah, it's living
never came
outside
back.
now, and it has befriended some squirrels, and it's doing fine. Schrodinger's cat. If I don't know the cat is dead, it's alive.
Ugh. Yeah, so I don't really have a whole lot more else to say, I think, about C for me. This one worked for Michelle.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't really work for me. 4 skulls versus 2 skulls, an average of 3. I think that's fair overall. I think
I'm
some
not
of you
even
will
mad about
probably
that.
enjoy
Yeah.
it.
I'm
Some of
surprised.
you will. And like I say, I guess maybe it sounds like I was more upset about it. Ultimately,
No.
I thought it was a well-made movie. I just the script didn't follow any kind of believable logic to me. The execution of everything was really well done, and it's certainly be interesting to see what people involved with this one do or have done before.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just as a story, it didn't work. So that's C for me. Next week, guys, I don't remember what the title is, but I do remember that it doesn't come out on Thursday. It comes out on Friday next week. So we will not be with you on the 14th. We will be with you
Don't
on the
worry,
15th.
We'll be with
But it'll
you
be
in
a good
spirit.
time. Yeah, it'll be a real good time. We'll just be a day late.
Mm-hmm.
And then we catch up anyway the next week because we come back on Thursday again. So your 8 days and your 6 days, it turns into average of 7. It'll be fine, guys.
Nobody's going to listen to it Thursday night anyway. It's okay.
Right, exactly. It's not going to happen.
It's not.
Well, then, Michelle, thank you so much for joining me once again. I am excited about
me.
You're very welcome. One of these days we're gonna figure out how to wrap this all up, and I don't know exactly. Maybe we won't. Maybe it'll just always be awkward, and we'll be like, "Well, I guess we're all done talking about the movie now."
And then we could leave in the silence after we get done recording for like 30 seconds, where we're both saving the file, and like we could just leave that in there somehow, like that palpable tension. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like this. This is calm.
All right.
Okay.
Say goodnight, Michelle.
Good night, Michelle.